Super Typhoon Ragasa has triggered landslides and forced people from their homes in the northern Philippines. The storm's the strongest of the year. It's made landfall on Monday, carrying winds of more than 200 kilometers per hour. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has put the Disaster Response Agency on full alert, and 3 people have been confirmed dead. 5 others are missing. Barnaby is joining us from Manila. This is the strongest storm anywhere on Earth so far this year. How are people responding, Barnaby?
That's right, Rob. Typhoon Ragasa, which interestingly is a Filipino word which means surge, is the strongest storm anywhere on the planet this year. But it did weaken slightly before making landfall on the extreme northern region of the Philippines. But it was still packing maximum sustained winds of 215 kilometers an hour with gustiness of nearly 300 kilometers an hour. So to put this in perspective, Super Typhoon Haiyan, one of the most powerful storms ever recorded, which hit the Philippines in 2013 and killed more than 6,000 people, that had winds with gustiness of up to 380 kilometers an hour. So Super Typhoon Ragasa, not quite Super Typhoon Haiyan, but it has winds strong enough to generate storm surges several meters high, which it did, and strong enough to inflict major damage, again, which it did, of course. But it's not just the winds, it's also the rains. It's rain bands, the outer rain bands reaching the southern part of the Philippines, or regions further south from where it hit, and also further north to Taiwan. And in fact, here in Manila, we are about 500 kilometers away from ground zero of the typhoon, but we have been experiencing heavy downpours here since Monday afternoon. And here where I'm standing right now, there was actually waist-deep flooding. And flooding, of course, widespread many parts of the country because rivers have swelled and dams have been releasing water. But the good news is that many of these floods have already subsided. But as you can see, the ground around me is still wet. We are still experiencing rains here on and off, and there is another storm that is approaching the Philippines, Rob.
We're just looking at some pictures as you're talking to us, Barnaby, from Haiyan province, and we can just see the level of some of the damage. At least these are in coastal provinces. Of course, these are pictures of the sea building up there. How is the government responding to this? Is it in a position to do anything, or are people just having to wait the storm out at the moment?
Well, let me just talk about the impact of the super typhoon for a bit, Rob. You mentioned at least 3 people have died and 5 people missing. Of course, information is still trickling in from the northern region of the Philippines, which was directly affected by Super Typhoon Ragasa. So we are only beginning to see the extent of the impact. But one of those people we know who died from a landslide incident. He was inside a van and was crushed by boulders, and 5 other people were injured from that landslide incident. Now, there have been several other reports of landslides, but the hope is that the number of casualties will remain low because, one, the area where Typhoon Ragasa made direct impact is sparsely populated, and 2, government rescue workers did evacuate more than 100,000 people ahead of the typhoon. Now, the government also pre-positioned relief packs in those areas where they're anticipating people to stay in evacuation center for days. The government also allocating funding for repairs of people with damaged homes. And yes, we have been hearing of many reports of damaged homes. In fact, homes that have been totally destroyed and damaged infrastructure, damaged bridges, damaged roads, toppled power lines, trees that have been uprooted, and schools are closed for a second day in large parts of the country. So life has been disrupted here in the Philippines, Rob.
Yeah, Barnaby, thank you very much. Barnaby there talking to us from Manila.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.